Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It's Thursday the 14th of January. We have a load of new mods. We have a load of updates. The updates are as follows. From top left, the Rotoplastic Speedmix 3000 and the Lizard Maximus 20000 TH, both by Farm Centro Sul, the Art Mechanic 21 ITR by Vanquish 081, the Multi-Transporter by Whiteball Modding, the HW80 Bale Trailer by Camelos 0397, the Holoras Stego Package by Lucas and Plays TV. That I was only talking about the other day. They've added that you can put water into it, which should help with compaction on silos. The Lizard Quad by Whiteball Modding. The Old Lizard Car Trailer Pack by Ostry and Kashtan 18. The Farm Buildings Pack by Realistic Farmers. The Field Barn by Merck to Gernbauer. The Old PGR Cows Barn by Camelos 0397. The Placeable Details Pack by Camelos 0397. That's been updated now. That's got 64 different placeables in it. The Wash Station by Missy B, the Farming Simulator Box Pack by Kashtan 18, and the Placeable Filling Stations by Chris CJ Farming have all had updates today. Okay, straight on with it. In front of us we have got the Concrete Fountain. This is by Landbauer, 1.5 megabytes download, 1 slot on console. That running water sound while I've been waiting to start recording makes me want to go to the toilet. Don't stand too close to it for too long. Nicely detailed, the water glistens. I mean, it looks like water. It's pretty cool. This you'll find under placeables and miscellaneous. There you go, 1,195. Once bought and placed, it doesn't cost you anything for your water. So we come up alongside it. Should give me the option to start filling. L3, we are filling and no money is coming out of the bank account. All good. That's the Concrete Fountain by Landbauer. Next, we've got this. Sorry, I know I seem to be rushing. We've got a lot to get through. We've got the gas pump. This is 3.2 megabytes download, 3 slots on console. This is by Pregel LE. It's a fuel tank for buying fuel. This you'll find also under placeables and miscellaneous. 1,500 to buy. 3 slots for the first one, which drops down to 1. And the same with that. I think I've got one here. I think I've got a fuel tank. We should pull up alongside it. Press L3 and it will give us the option to start filling up. There we go. Money's going into the account. Diesel tank's filling up from the bottom. We have a fuel pump. There you go. Gas station, gas pump by Pregel LE. Moving on from there, we've got this. Now I remember this from FS19 on Old Stream Farm. I think I originally had one of these, and then I think it was modded on there as well. It's by Blacksheep Modding. The Vehicle Shelter Metal, 1.34 megabytes download, 2 slots on console. There is lighting underneath, and you know what I didn't do? I didn't look for a light switch. There we go. I don't think the original had lighting underneath that I remember. Plenty of room. I like the shelters. They've got loads of room underneath. Drive through in all different directions as well, so you can store your bales, you can store all your stuff, whatever you want to do. I think it's seasons ready. Doesn't actually say on the mod hub. I would assume so. Generally speaking, they are these days. It would be unusual not to be. You will find this under placeables and sheds. Vehicle shelter, 9,000 to buy. 2 slots, which drops down to 1. So really cheap, not heavy on the slot count, plenty of room, nicely detailed with lighting. Not bad at all. That's by Blacksheep Modding. Moving on from there, we've got this interesting looking building. This is the grain silo. This is by R.Mihail and Den Ben. 13 slots, 12.95 megabytes download. I think it's got a capacity of 200,000 litres, but we'll check in store at the moment. Putting into the silo is done from here, and this is a bit unusual, this one. Taking out is done from here, from any one of those. Doors open and close. Now we've got a section here that runs up across, and you can tip sideways into the silo here. We'll open the doors at the other end as well. Don't think there's a light switch in here, but the lights do come on automatically, because when it was dark this morning when I was setting up, it worked. But this end, the pit is here. We've got a shorter one that end and a slightly longer one this end, and this is what it does. If I go to here and press circle, it tips, which is interesting. I can only imagine if you've got a vehicle that doesn't have a tip function, or if you want to tip quicker maybe, so you lift your trailer up and then lift that and it will tip. It's unusual. I've never really come across that before, unless you want to do repairs on your vehicle while you're unloading. But that works either end. If I put that one down by pressing close enough, there we go, circle. We go through to the other side and open the door. Farm dog is furious about this. And go to circle there. It lifts that side up. Is that a coin slot there? Yeah, it's a coin slot. You have to pay to use it. That's interesting. But that side doesn't. That's just a tip left or right. So yeah, it's an unusual one, having that as a function. It's an interesting looking one. You can't go in up there. I did try the door. Unfortunately, you can't get into it. So this you will find under placeables and silos. There you go. It does regular crop types. It's not a multi-fruit silo. It is 200,000 litres. 13 slots for the first one, which then drops down to 1. There are no options available for colour or anything like that. You get it in blue. It's used to store your crops. There we go. Moving on from there. That one was by R.Mihail and Den Ben. We have got the Farmhouse. This is by, I want to get this right, SzeftiLS. It's 11 slots, 7.77 megabytes download. Not a bad size actually. I have moved, my test map is now on Eureka Farms. It's got a larger open, well, it's got an open space and field. Regardless why I've changed, that's where I am now, in case people are wondering. But what I have found in placing things down, I'm getting little gaps underneath them. That includes vehicles. That's not the mods, that's the map, I think. It seems to be a bit weird across here. But anyway, this is a sleep trigger. If we go up to here, I'm not tired at the moment, but if you want to sleep through the night, that's where you do it. I don't think we can go into it. No. Nicely detailed, nicely textured, brickwork's good. And to be fair, for only 11 slots, I mean, we've had ones like this with this much detail that have been sort of 30, 40 slots before. So that's by SzeftiLS. You'll find this under placeables and farmhouses. There you go, 45 grand to buy and place. You can only have one of them unless you do a multiplayer on your map. But that's the Farmhouse. Fantastic. Moving on from there, we've got shelters. These are by Rejman. 5.21 megabytes download. 9 slots for this one, 7 slots for that one. Nicely detailed. I would say small to possibly medium machinery. That one's got the back wall on it. That's why it's 9 slots. That one's open all the way around. Why it's 7. There's no lighting, so no light switches. These you'll find also under placeables, but under sheds. 3,000 for the one with the back on it. 1,000 for the one that doesn't have the back on it. A couple of shelters for storing whatever it is you want to store. I'll just double check to see if that's Seasons ready. Compatible with Seasons mods. Mod, it says, which is very nice indeed. Moving on from there, through the back here, we have got the Sugarbeets Export. This is by TF2020 Mods, formerly Holger Sengstock, as far as I can work out. The updates to the manure dealer pack that we had yesterday was, rather than just have a single large one, you've now got the option of a smaller one too. They're both sell points on this one because this is the export, Sugarbeets Export. 1.23 megabytes download, 2 slots for each of them, whether you go for the small or the large. With the This one, the sugar beet one, the manure one and the slurry one, you do have an easy and you have a pro feed, like a professional. The easy one, you just drive up, tip, no problem at all. With the pro feed ones, with this one you have to get a little bit closer in, and also I think with the other ones you have to use conveyor belts and stuff, but with these ones you just have to get a little bit closer into it to get it to work. What will happen is, once you have placed them, if I go down the menu, down where it's orange at the bottom, we've got small sugar beets export easy, sugar beets export easy, so the small and the larger one. Prices are pretty low though. It does say occasionally you can get a great demand, but compared to the rest of the prices for sugar beet at other sell points on this particular map, they're quite low as far as prices go, which is a little bit concerning. You'll find these under placeables and miscellaneous. So we've got small sugar beets export easy, 3 grand. Sugar beets export easy, which is the large one, for 7,500. Then you've got the small sugar beets export profi, and that one does say in the profi mode you have to drive very close to the heap to unload, whereas the other one you've got a bit more leeway. You don't have to be perfectly spot on. And then the larger of them, I say 2 slots for each of them, that drops down to 1 once you've placed them. So that's for selling sugar beets. Moving on from there, we are going to do next this beastie. Not the dozer, we've already had that before. We've got this. This is the NMC Mulcher. This is by North Modding Company. 4.03 megabytes download, 3 slots on console. This is a mulcher tree removal implement for use with the D11 bulldozer. I get the feeling from just having a quick test of this, you could drive through a forest and just not stop. just keep going. It will take out tree stumps if you've already cut your trees down in no time flat, but it will also take out trees. Nothing to be wary of with mulchers like this. If you've got a pile of wood you've already cut down, if you go even slightly near it, you will lose that pile of lumber almost immediately. So just be wary of that. I love the shine of the metal on the cutting blade disc bar. There's a couple of options for that, but that looks pretty menacing, I'll be honest, and it's huge. As far as I can tell, I can't get that bar to move. It looks like it's fixed in place. I think that's when you are doing trees, it's to stop trees falling back onto the dozer as you're cutting them. I think. I get the feeling that's what that's for. This you'll find under tools, and I think it's miscellaneous, this one. Now the required mod, of course, is to have the D11 dozer, otherwise you won't be able to put it on anything. But there's the mulcher. It's quite expensive when you consider how much the dozer is, and even to lease the dozer is about 74 grand. So it's a pricey alternative, but if you're into your forestry and you're trying to clear, I don't know, room for a motorway or something, this is going to be what you might want to use. 6 meters wide. We can change the main color to anything on that palette. And then we've got design pattern for the blade, pattern 1 or pattern 2. Like so. Those are the 2 options. What we'll do is hop in the dozer. We'll hook it up. Now, I'm going to open the side panel because we do have some options here. We can, there we go. If I do R1 up and down, so R1 and then right stick up and down, I can open and close that. So depending on the trees, it might be sometimes you want to have it open. It might give you a bit of better access to certain trees and things that you want to get to. We do have the option on L1 to tilt it forwards and backwards and raise and lower it manually. So if you need that little bit of tilt on it to get to a particular tree or something, you can. Or L1 and circle, we can just raise and lower it automatically. So what I'm going to do is show you what I mean. It is quite scary. Unfortunately the dozer is quite slow, but we'll turn it on, put lights on just so we can see as well. So we can tilt it, but I don't think we're going to need to. Stump's gone as well. No need to worry. See what I mean? You don't even have to slow down to do the tree stuff, to do the stumps. It's just boom, gone. Thank you very much, and move on. If you were trying to clear the forest moon of Endor, this would be the vehicle and the mulcher you would use. It is a beast. So there we go. That is NMC Mulcher by North Modding Company. Blimey. That's a scary piece of kit. But it certainly does the job. Bit more price than the T-Rex 600, but it depends what equipment you're using already. Okay, moving on from there. We've got this. This is the Lizard U473S. This is by Puszkap and SYJON. It's 10.83 megabytes download, 12 slots on console. It's a 2.1 meter cultivator. We do have a couple of options on this to have it with a roller basket or the chain harrows, like you can see here, or I think with none of them, if we don't want to have them. This you'll find under tools and cultivators. There you go, the U473S, 3100 to buy, 28 horsepower required. It will run at 9 miles per hour, and as I said already, 2.1 meters wide. Options available: we can change the main color like so, and then the design color we can do like so. But then we've got warning signs, yes or no. Then we can have wheels. You can have them old, new, or with tyres. I actually do prefer the tired option. Not the tired as in, oh, I need to go to sleep, but tired. And then we got on the back, shaft or harrows. No, you can have it with a shaft, with a basket on the back, or with harrows. Now that doesn't raise or lower or anything. I did think with that spring and that turning handle, maybe it would move out the way, but I haven't been able to get that to do anything. So what we'll do is we'll hook up. And it's just a case of drop it down. And away we go. 2.1 meters cultivating. It's going to be for small farms, small equipment. It's got quite a low horsepower requirement. I do like the harrows moving on the back. Nicely detailed. That's by Puszkap and SYJON. Next up we have got, this is the Lizard HS400L. This is a fertilizer spreader. It's actually quite cool. I'll say it's actually quite cool. It is quite cool. Not actually makes it sound like I'm surprised. So the HS400. This is 3.26 megabytes download, 4 slots on console. It's by SBR-modding. This is a 6 meter sprayer, but it doesn't just do fertilizer and herbicide. This will do fertilizer, herbicide, slurry, and digestate, which is unusual for a spray like this. Normally we just get fertilizer or herbicide, so I think I put digestate in it. Pretty sure I did. This you will find under crop protection. There you go, HS400L, 3000 to buy, 6 meter width. It was, 4 slots. It's only got a 400 litre tank, that's why it's the HSL 400L, 400 litre, so you're going to run out fairly quickly. Again, it's for small fields, or it's going to be for spot application, especially if you're using it for weed work. If you've got weeds on and you need to get rid of them, turn it on. That's interesting. Digestate is going down. We can raise and lower it, so just because it's not lowered. I am wondering now whether or not it's because this field potentially, you know what, that's going to be what it is, isn't it? This field's already been, it's got enough fertilising on it, hasn't it? Yes, of course. It would absolutely be that, wouldn't it? Just to really annoy me. Let's do that. Try it on this bit down here. Ah, there we go. Now it's applying. So on, it's run out already. But on a field that does need fertilising, this section down the bottom here does. That put the digestate on there, no problem at all. So yeah, 6 metres wide, fertiliser, herbicide, slurry or digestate. That's pretty cool, that. I like that. That's by FBR Modding, which brings me on to the next of the mods, which is also by FBR Modding. And this is the Massey Ferguson 6411. This is 1.86 megabytes download, 3 slots on console, also by FBR Modding. It's a 1.2 metre plough. Oh, I just realised, yes, I'm using a Massey Ferguson, aren't I? There you go, 6411 Massey Ferguson. And it will, as you can imagine, plough. Pretty narrow though. It's going to take a while if you're going to do fields using this. I don't think it moves at any angle. No, it's just lower plough. But you can create fields as you can with most ploughs. So if you do L1 and triangle, you can use it to create a field if you want to. L1 and triangle, drop it down, and we can create fields like so. This you'll find under tools and ploughs, 2,500 to buy, requires 80 horsepower, and it will run at 7 miles per hour. There are no options available. You get it in Massey Ferguson red, and away you go. There you go. That's by FBR Modding. Moving on from there, we've got this. This is the new Holland FR850. Now on FS19 we had an FR850, and then when we got into 19 we got an FR780, is it we got now? But what's cool about this is the starting price. Now you don't start on an 850, you start on a 450 I think it is. And I think that works out, if I'm not mistaken, one of the cheapest forage harvesters now that we've got on console. I'm trying to think of any modded ones, any extra modded ones. But this is by Agro Tonho, 17.74 megabytes download, 22 slots on console, which is pretty good. There's a load of options on this as well for colours and pipe and tinted windows, and yeah, I like it. It's nice. I've always liked the New Holland FR series anyway, but it's a nice addition. Nicely detailed. Have I said nice yet? I think I might have mentioned nice a few times. Anyway, this you'll find under vehicles and forage harvesters. So we've got the FR780 and the price there is 364. If we go across, I've got a modded, where are we? The RSM 1403 is a modded one, and that was pretty cheap, 221 grand. And I use that quite a lot because at least something like that, if you're going to do any forage harvesting work, was a good option. But this one next to it, the FR450, which can become an 850 if you want it to, is only 211 grand. I'm pretty sure that puts it one of, if not the cheapest forage harvester on console, which is amazing. So, options available. We can change the rim colour to anything on that palette, like so. The main colour, we can have black or yellow, and that changes some of the sections of the harvester, but not all of them. Actually, that just has the cab, doesn't it? Or was it the arches as well? Just the cab, as far as I can tell. Design colour does the pipe, like so. Then we've got the option of Trelleborg, mitres, Michelin, and back again. Under Trelleborg, we've got standards or wides. Under mitres, standards or wides. And under Michelin, standard, you've guessed it, wides. Then we've got windows, standard. You've got plus tint, a plus plus tint, or a plus 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 tint. And then back to standard. Then design, standard, or black, that's the logo. And then we've got the engine setup. So the FR450 is the cheapest option. That's 449 horsepower though. That's not, you know, I mean, it's probably fairly low for a forage harvester. We can then go for the FR500 at 516 horsepower, the FR600 at 600 horsepower, the FR700 at 685 horsepower, or the FR850 at 824. That really whacks the price right up. That one's added 176 grand onto the price for the extra horsepower. And then back to the 450 again. Those are the options. Pipe out. Beacons. horn, lights, all the way around. Sounds nice. Now, there will always be the question when it comes to forage harvesters, what trailers will it hook up to? Now, I can't test every single trailer. It's not possible to test every single trailer in game. What I have always found is, for the most part, most forage harvesters will hook up to the Flegel dolly. I think that's a modded one. There may be other trailers. It's going to be a case of having to fiddle around to find the combination that will work, because there are so many and so many modded ones. I've often found that the forage harvesters will hook up to the sugarcane random trailers as well, quite well, so potentially you could check that out. In cab, nicely detailed, visibility is good. It's a nice mod at a nice price. Slot count's not too bad either. Very nice forage harvester, that. There you go, the FR850 by Agro Tonho. Moving on from there, we have got the Kuhn VBP 2190. This is a baler wrapper. It is 6.57 megabytes download, 12 slots on console. It's by Rolnik 410. Nicely made. Unfortunately, this is not a fast baler. This is one that, when it gets full, it will unload into there, but you need to stop. If you don't stop, you'll go over swath, and you'll miss swath if you don't stop. And also, it doesn't automatically unload, so you still have to do L1 and triangle, I think it is, to unload it. We will check that in a minute. 4,000 litre bales, and you can change the foil colour. We'll have a look at that in a second as well. Funny story about that word. People saying about me, you know, getting in trouble, and is it really a swear word? Is it really racist? Blah, blah, blah. There's a company in Australia, someone sent me a link, that makes cheese with the same sounding name but spelt differently. They have recently just changed their whole company name because of pressure for it being a racist slur and inappropriate word. So, this you'll find under Tools and Baling Technology. There you go. The VBP 2190, 96 grand. So for a baler wrapper, not too expensive. Did I say how many slots it was? Yeah, 12 slots. Not too high on the slot count either. Does 4,000 litre bales. 130 horsepower required. Runs at 12 miles per hour. Options available. We can change the foil colour to the regular foil colours that you can normally have. Sometimes we get balers and wrappers that will allow you to do all different colours, but those are the four main ones. So not too bad at all. What we'll do... So it's kind of somewhere between the one from the Vicon one, the Vicon fast bale, and the one that's kind of semi-fast bale in that it has an automatic unload, sort of. This, unfortunately, is, like I say, it is a baler wrapper, but it still requires, when I get to 4,000, if I don't stop when it hits 4,000, like now, when it unloads, if I keep going, because the baler's not closed, it will not pick up the grass, so it needs to be 0, then I can go again, which is great. But then if I carry on now, that will not auto unload. I will then have to unload it as well off the back. But it's a nice baler, like I say, price isn't too bad. So I've just gone over 4,000, and now I'm not picking anything up, and that bale does need to be unloaded. L1 and triangle to unload it. Then the new bale will come out. And if I'd have just carried on going, I wouldn't have been picking anything up. So you end up missing a whole load. The pickup is fairly wide. I'm not having any problems. It will depend on how much grass you've got and what your yield is. But there you go. The Kuhn VBP 2190 baler wrapper. Now, if you're not doing grass, if you're doing straw or hay, it won't wrap it, because the wrapper will only wrap grass bales to make silage bales. If you are baling with this to do straw or hay, it will just bale it as normal, and then you drop it out the back. It won't wrap that. So there we go. That's by Rolnik 410. Moving on from there, and this has been fairly eagerly anticipated by a few people. This is the John Deere Windrower. 15.02 megabytes download, 10 slots on console for the actual Windrower, and then for the actual cutter on the front is 4 slots. This is by SleutsjesModding, the 2280 diesel, and then you've got the 300 twin knife header. It's a 4.5 meter cutter, and when it cuts it then windrows. Only downside I can see, it doesn't have a trailer hitch on the back. So you can't windrow and then maybe cheekily pull something along behind it, like maybe a loading wagon or a baler. I know it doesn't have a PTO, so I wouldn't allow you to. But I thought if it had a trailer hitch, you might get away with that cheeky front lifter mod and click down the back, but it doesn't. But that being said, it is cheap as chips to buy. It's actually cheaper than buying some of the mowers on their own, which is pretty good. Because I do think if it had a trailer hitch on the back as well, if and when we get any more of the trailed butterfly mowers, you could run that on the front with the butterfly one on the back, which would be quite cool. But it's nicely detailed. You will find the vehicle under vehicles and mowers. 14,500, that's all. It runs at 80 horsepower, 18 miles an hour, and like I say, 10 slots for the first one, which drops to 1. There are no options available, which is in John Deere green and yellow. And then the cutter you'll find under tools and mowers. That's 6,500. So for a little over, what, 21 grand? You've got yourself a, self-propelled is the word I was looking for. 4.5 meter mower. That's 4 slots, run at 10 miles an hour. Again, no options, John Deere green and yellow. What we'll do is jump in. Horn, lights are only at the front, there's no working lights at the back. There's nothing to see off the back, I suppose, other than checking to see if your swath's okay. We hook it up, PTO driven. One thing I have found in a little bit of testing I did, it can be a little bit sluggish on the turn. That's far worse if you're not accelerating. It needs power, otherwise it can be a bit of a pain to turn. Turn it on, drop it down. Then away we go. Very nice in cab too, really nicely detailed, crisp detailing in there as well. Nice mod that. It's not going to be for everyone. Nice animation on the rotors and the auger. Lights off, drop that down. There we go. That's the John Deere Windrower by SleutjesModding. Moving on from there, we've got this. This is the John Deere 1110 1210 1510G. This is a forest forwarder was what I was trying to say. It is 20.79 megabytes download, 45 slots on console for the main machine, and then you've got 3 backs for it. You've got a clam bunk to use it as a skidder for grabbing huge trees and just dragging them out of the forest. Then you've got a narrow bunk and a wide bunk which can be attached onto the back of the forwarder itself, which is very nice. This is by Woodcraft modding, but I will say this. There are some really cracking features on this, which I really like. But these have to be loaded onto the back and then attached, which is a bit fiddly. It's not going to be for everyone. Some people will just decide at that point, you know what, not interested. It just requires a bit of finesse with the crane, something that if you've been watching my Let's Plays for a while, you'll know I don't always possess. But the forwarder itself is nicely detailed, and like I say, there's a nice feature on this, which I'm trying to think if I've come across it on any other forwarders before. So you'll find the main vehicle under vehicles and forestry machines, 324 grand for the base model. We can have Trelleborg, Ollesfors or knock-ins. The knock-ins are a slightly smoother tread. Oh, back up please. Trelleborg are a little bit knobblier, and then the Ollesfors we run through from EcoTrack, Evo Baltic, Magnum, Kovacs, ProGrip and EcoTrack, ProGrip and Evo Baltic, ProGrip and Magnum, back to EcoTrack again, and then we can go back to knock-ins like so. You can have it without blade or with blade on the front. Then protection, you can have no protection, protection over the cabin, protection over the hood, or both. And then you've got the engine setup. Oh, so 197 horsepower for the 1110G, then the 1210G is 212, and then the 1510G is 223. So that's the most expensive one at 223 horsepower. So what we'll do is jump in it, start it up. Now I left it here because to hook up each bunk and take them out, it would have been a little bit fiddly to do that. Horn, lights. I'm going to open the help menu because we're going to need it. Now, it does say grapple free at the top of the help menu. And at the moment I'm on control group 1, which is crane. So with my left stick I can move my crane around like usual crane controls, side to side, up and down. On L1, L1 and right stick. And R1 and right stick I've got my in and out and up and down of that boom section like so. And then L1 and R1 I've got my opening and close of the grapple and my rotation of the head like so. But if I put grapple locked and now do L1 R1, I can't rotate that head. I can open and close it, but I can't rotate it because I've locked the grapple. So if you want to lock the grapple, you can. Then what else have we got? Under L1, oh yeah, then we go to triangle, control group 2, which is extra functions. And if we go side to side L1 and side to side on the right stick, we can move that bunk forward and backwards a little bit, like so. I think we have straps. Yeah, there's a strap down in amongst there. You might see it click on and off. It's quite difficult to see actually. So there are straps, and then what else have we got? Oh yeah, cabin. This was the thing I was to say. If we go back to right, L1 and R1, change driving direction. You can spin round, which is not unusual, like so. But what we can also do on control group 2, extra functions, L1, R1 on my left stick, I can manually move the cab to any position I want. So rather than just have it at a slight angle, which we have done some, or completely change direction, you can move that cab to any position you want and leave it there. That's a great feature. You can go all the way around to there. So I'd say I love that as a feature on here. It's just putting on the backs is a little bit finicky and fiddly. As far as camera options go, we've got in-cab, crane, back again. Sometimes we get left crane and right crane. Let's change that. Not bad. What I'm going to do is unlock the grapple, so we're going to need that in just a second. So, I'm not going to put... I was going to say I wasn't going to put all the bunks on. It's just, like I say, it's a bit fiddly doing it, but let's spin that round, open it up a bit. Close that up. Right, so I can attach that now, it says, which puts the clam bunk on. Now this adds an extra control group, so we've now got control group 0. So if I switch to crane, get that out of the way a second. Let's swing that round so I can see a bit better. Sorry, this is a bit... That's why it is fiddly. So now I can then go back to 0, control group 0, which is now the clam bunk. So L1, R1, I can open and close that clam bunk. It doesn't seem to... The weird thing is, I think it's free to rotate, and it's giving me the option saying that I can rotate it, but it's not letting me rotate it. I can open and close it. I think the rotation on it is free, but we can then lock that clam bunk as well. L1 and X, we can lock the clam bunk in place and it will lock, although it does seem to be locking at a funny angle. So change control group. If I want to detach it, put it back on control group 0, press detach, that pops off, and I wonder if I can just get it to come off by accelerating. Nope, I'll also try and save myself some time. Anyway, needless to say, these bunks, if you grab them here, you can put on the back, the wider one and the narrow one. They do have straps, and you just switch them out on the back, the same as you do for the clam bunk. So having picked up the rear bunk section and put it on, and it had to be around the correct way for it to want to attach, back onto control group nil, L1 and right stick up and down, I can extend that bunk out to the back. But that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if when you put it on you've got a trailer hitch. There isn't a trailer hitch on the back, so you can't then add another trailer on, because we have got some of these forwarder trailers too. And then, like I say, there are straps on that as well. There you go, across the middle. So we can strap down any lumber that we decide to use on there. And there you go. That's the John Deere 1110, 1210, 1510G by Woodcraft Modding. Moving on to the last of the mods for today. And it's these. We had the Massey Ferguson 135 by PeterJ the other day. We've got the Massey Ferguson 20. This is the industrial version in industrial yellow from Massey Ferguson. A few extra little bells and whistles that the other one didn't have. I love the look of this. This is the different variations, but we've got an addition in this as well with this. So you've got the Massey Ferguson 20 dumper, which comes in this configuration with the tractor and the dump trailer on the back, already attached, 8,500 litres. That looks cool in its own right. Again, I'm biased because I like these sorts of tractors, but it's a lovely looking tractor. We do have the industrial front loader as well, the systematic industrial. But yeah, very, very nice. These you will find under small tractors on the end. The Massey Ferguson 20, 11,200, 45 horsepower. Thank you to for everyone who commented on the last one. Options on this one, we've got standard. We can have a front guard, we can have front weight frame, 200 kilogram front weight, 500 kilogram front weight. I love that 500 kilo one with the hazard warning markings on it. That's cool. Or off. Then we've got flat top fenders or cab. There's no shell fenders on this one. This is the industrial version, so it's flat top fenders or cab. Then we've got industrial tyres, road tyres, agricultural tyres or grassland tyres, which are far more rounded over on the edges to avoid damage. Then we've got engine setup, we've got the 20 and we've got the 20 multi-power. Now the multi-power, I said in the previous one, I couldn't work out there was no horsepower improvement. According to a lot of people that commented, the multi-power changes the gearing. It either gives you an extra gear or it changes the gearing ratio, something along those lines, but it just gives you better gearing as I understand it. So that's that version. And then I think, was it under miscellaneous in here or was it under miscellaneous? There we go. So under miscellaneous in vehicles, you've got the 20 dumper. The trailer on that, 8,500 litres, will take everything. Pretty much everything, I think. The dumper is 8 slots, the same as the other one. I didn't say, 14.86 megabytes download this pack by PeterJ. 8 slots for the first tractor, 8 slots for this one, the dumper with the dump trailer on the back. Options, standard, front guard, front weights frame, 200 kilogram weight, or off. There's no cab on this one. And then on the back we've got the dumper, or we've got dumper multi-power, which again changes the gearing. There are no tyre options, there's no cab option, nothing like that at all. Oh, and I've just remembered, thought I didn't show you another one. We go right down to the bottom after engine setup. We've got front loader attacher, yes or no, because you'll need the front loader attacher if you're going to put the front loader attachment on, which you'll find under tools and front loaders. So if you've got the 135 installed already, you've got the systematic short of the systematic With this one, you get the systematic IND, the industrial version. That's 3 slots. There are no options available. You get it as is, like so. That's what we'll do. Lights. Indicators on this, and I'll wait around to the back to show the indicators. It does it both sides. Up on the cab. That's for the cab version. To the one without cab. I've gone with the front loader attacher. Like so. And that should work with any front loader equipment. As long as you've got a weight on the back to compensate. If you're going to use slightly larger stuff, you're probably going to need it. Lights, horn, and the same thing, but indicators are on the wheel arches, fenders, rather than the cab on that one. 21 miles an hour. I think I went with the rounded tyres on that one, didn't I? Yeah, the grassland tyres on that one. And then finally, we've got the dump version. First person. Really nice, detailed. Because when I first got it, I suddenly thought, well, that seems to be floating off the floor. But all of the vehicles I've put down today seem to be floating off the floor. So I think that's the map and not necessarily the actual mod. That's a really nice one. I like that. Plenty of turning space as well with that. Doesn't get caught up on the trailer. And 8,500 litres is not a bad size either. Especially for the price. That's what I thought I'd do, seeing as we've got some sugar beet in it. We'll bring it down to the sugar beet sell point. Let's sell some sugar beet. And there we go. That's it. The Massey Ferguson 20 by PeterJ, and that is it, I think, for the mods for today. Apologies if I've missed anything. I don't think I have. But you never know. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.